Based on how Matt Reeves' The Batman ended, what kind of story arc would you like to see in the sequel and possibly across the trilogy? Well, my first thought, based on what you put there at the end, I wouldn't limit it to a trilogy. I don't like we think in trilogies and we only do 3 of these a lot of the time, but that's a if it's not planned out as a trilogy. Certain characters, certain things fit well into 3 stories. I would hard disagree with that for Batman. And in fact, that's even the flaw in my mind of the Nolan films. That makes them distinctly Nolan films is that he wanted a distinct beginning, middle, and an end, and have a definitive conclusion. That makes it entirely Elseworld Nolan verse Batman. That's not Batman. Batman's not looking to no longer be Batman. And so first off, what I would say is I don't specifically want it to be a trilogy because I think Batman lends himself to being this ongoing story. So coming out of the Batman, I think the thing that it did really well was the detective aspect. What it did rather poorly was Bruce Wayne. That it was like such a distinct take on him that it just feels like we're seeing such a moment. So I would like to see a little bit more of a more traditional Bruce Wayne as he gets older. And I think some of that with where the movie ended, you establish Bruce Wayne as realizing I need to use my wealth and my name, my real name, to be a beacon of light and hope. Kind of what they literally metaphorize, like he's carrying a torch, like he's going to be the beacon of hope and light. And start, like you see that kind of ideas in the story if he's being challenged as Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne's not doing anything. So I think you end the movie with Bruce Wayne. Or excuse me, that's where you go from. I actually wanted that at the end of the film. I think they set up Bruce Wayne to be one of the heroes of Gotham. And so that's where I kind of want them to go. I want them to make Bruce Wayne trying to be the hero of Gotham and what that looks like. But along those same lines, then you make the villain like the Court of Owls. And as Bruce Wayne tries to use his name to save his city, while Batman fights crime at night and the corruption that what the police can't do, where there's too much corruption there for the police to do, what Bruce Wayne can't do, the face of Bruce Wayne, Batman does. The Court of Owls steps in, and they are part of their deep connections to Gotham, the same way that the Wayne name has deep connections to Gotham. You get deeper into the corruption that's been there a long time and the ways in which they're trying to manipulate the system to try and tear down anything that would threaten their power. So the Court of Owls is going after Bruce Wayne, while Batman is going after the Court of Owls. And so you kind of have some interesting back and forth and all of that, and some mystery that can take place. And I like the idea. I like a big part that did really well with the Batman was a lived in Gotham. So Penguin is just there. Catwoman is just there. Riddler's our main villain. And Penguin and Catwoman have major things to do, but they are not our main antagonists. And I think you continue to do that. Have the main conflict being driven by something fresh and new for Batman movies, which would be the Court of Owls, but also have something for Joker to do. Maybe it's a Hannibal Lecter kind of thing where Batman is going to him for advice of sorts. And then Penguin's still out there, and then maybe bring someone else in that just fills out this world. So it feels populated. We get the popular characters that sell tickets, but we get a story that's fresh, new, and different. That's what I would do. And I would that seems to be what they're doing. What the first one did well is this very lived in, populated Gotham with a deep history, and our conflicts are about Batman trying to unpack a lot of that. Our third movie, that's where I'd say, okay, let's go for it. Make the Joker the main villain. Make one of our A-listers do something that okay, we've had them as side characters. Let's just really go for the populist thing. Maybe that's the fourth movie. Maybe we need to wait a little while because Joker 2's coming out. But make it so we've had enough time between our... It's a little bit tricky because they're doing Joker movies. And then they had Joker in Suicide Squad. then there's another sense in which right now it's been 15 years since we've had a Batman versus Joker movie. It's already been 15 years. That's a long time. And that's a very popular character that they've used in creative different ways so we can still use him. But it also means it feels too soon to use him to do his primary thing, duke it out with Batman. And if you're going to do a new version of Bat, at some point in time, you really have to duke it out. So I think do like a Hannibal Lecter type Joker for one, maybe even two movies. And then he breaks free. Maybe you do I don't know. I would love it if you did like a real proper Nightfall of classic Bane, breaks everyone out of Gotham. And Bane does that, but it's not really even the focus of the movie. And you do it as a two-parter and his back is literally broken or something. I would love it if we could bring in, find some way to bring in a more reasonable version of Robin or Dick Grayson or something like that. But anyway, there's a lot of, like, I want to see some of those classic storylines done in a more traditional fashion, not a Nolanized version of it that's like, that's kind of Bane, but not really. You're not really doing the thing that made like Nightfall or Bane realized in the comics, like, I can't, to beat Batman, I need to wear him down. I'll let all the criminals out. So Batman wears himself thin, trying to rescue it, set everyone back. And now that he's so exhausted, I can defeat him. He's mentally, physically exhausted. Now I can defeat him and break the bat. I've just sucked everything out of him. Now we'll break the bat. I don't know. I think that's a story worth telling. And by the time you get to it, in my fourth or fifth movie, we will have been 15 years past The Dark Knight Rises, and maybe we can get away with that. But do that as a payoff of 2-3 movies of putting villains in Arkham. And then you have a movie, whether it's the third one or the fourth one. The plot of the film is Bane broke them all out. Batman spends the movie desperately putting all the bad guys from the first 3 movies back into prison, and the movie ends with Batman losing. And we sit there for 3 years with a broken bat. And then you do, I wouldn't do Azrael and all that stuff that's in the comics. I wouldn't do that. I would do it with Dick Grayson and Tim Drake or something like that, taking the place. Damian Wayne. I don't know if they're doing that with the Batman, the Brave and Bold Man, it would work. But anyway. So that's where my brain goes. I've said it many times before. I actually don't want them to keep making Batman movies. I want them to make a premium Batman TV show. You think the HBO system, like HBO, true HBO, Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Last of Us, those guys, they do a premium Batman show. He's a detective. He doesn't need gigantic visual effects. He's a fighter, fighting criminals that are much more grounded. And you make a TV show out of that. There's so many great Batman stories you could tell, so many villains you could bring into it. That's what I want.
Most of these clips are pulled from my weekly Patreon live stream. Join at any level and you can join the chat and ask all the questions you want. That's for as little as $2 per month. For $5 per month, you can get your name on my end card. For $25 per month, you can have a monthly video chat with me. Link is in the description for more details, and keep talking movies and TV too much.